big brain idea. A brain idea, an idea about the brain, some would say. Check this out. So, if anyone here knows how nerve signals are conducted, basically ions are flushed. So, like, think about it like a big hose, right? That's kind of leaky. So you have sodium and potassium ions being like actively pumped out, like across, so it builds up this charge across the membrane. And then when that voltage gets high enough, the gated channels open, essentially letting them flood back in. So that's repolarization. No. That's depolarization. Polarization is when they create poles, like a negative side and a positive side. So anyway, it travels down the axon like that. The axon is the process that sends signals outward. Dendrites bring signals in, axons send them out. Check this out though. This signal transport system, right? It's built into the membrane of the neuron, and so, like, essentially the surface of that membrane and its constituents and its I forget. They'll affect the signal, right? So you would think that like the signal would be asymmetric, right? Because the axon's not a perfect circle, and like the synapse surely isn't a perfect circle. But check this out. So in nerve conduction, there's this thing called the refractory period, right? So remember how I said they flush to depolarize? Well, it takes time to pump it back up and repolarize it. Get it, was it 50 millivolts, 70 negative 70 whatever. You basically you need to build that voltage back up. And what that does is it doesn't let the nerve signal travel backwards, because right behind it is still recovering. It's the refractory period. It can't fire that little section. So it has to go forward, right? But when it hits the synapse, and this is something that I need to talk to some of my doctor friends about, but what I'm picturing essentially is that the signal, this asymmetric signal, essentially wraps around into the synapse in zeros somewhere, right? It cancels because it'll converge on one area, and everywhere outside that circle is in its not everywhere, but right close to it outside that circle is the refractory period. So it'll just pinch off and disappear, the nerve signal. And what I think is going on there is the way that signal goes through the hello, by the way, the way the signal goes what I'm picturing, the signal goes through the axon very slightly differently, right? All over the place. And so that would directly affect the neurotransmitter cascade, right? Because this side's getting a high concentration before this side, and this side has high, this side has low, or whatever, right? So these asymmetric nerve impulses, they add another level of complexity, right? And so does an asymmetric shape of the axon and the synapse. So what I was wondering and thinking, and I think this would be a step, like a step in our understanding of the brain and how it works. Wow, that was a big bomb to drop. To forget it. Yeah, so you have this asymmetric impulse, right? And so what I'm wondering is, if if you have a certain asymmetric impulse, but it's constantly getting like a similar one, is that going to physically build out the synapse or the axon in that direction, essentially a physical change to strengthen that pathway? That also means it is. Hey Bomber. I'm talking about neurons, how they work. I think I came upon a cool idea that basically, like, if you know how nerves conduct impulses, you've got this refractory period, blah blah blah. It's mediated by trans whatever surface proteins, and basically you'll have an asymmetric signal, and that is part of the complexity, right? Here's the kicker. So you have an asymmetric signal, but because the charges, so like the nerve impulse moves that way, but the charges are moving like this, right? And so if they're moving like this, they're making electromagnetic waves, right? But this impulse, electromagnetic waves are light, right? But this impulse is moving at the speed of biology, not at the speed of light. And I'm wondering if essentially, so like you have the propagation of the electric signal propagating forward, right? But you essentially have all these fucking ions which would be fucking with that signal. So it could be the case that the intricacy is so precise that every ion in and out matters to how exactly the nerve signal produces a neurotransmitter response, right? It's crazy. Like, if you picture it, you have, like, normally when you have an electromagnetic wave, you have a lot more electricity. I think you have to multiply B, the magnetic field, by C, causality, the speed of light, to get the strength of the electric field. I don't know. I think there's something there, because I've read a little bit of research that, like, articles about research that have talked about essentially finding some photonic action in the brain. Essentially like little lights going off, right? Well, these nerve impulses, they would be very similar to little flashes of light, but they're moving at the speed of biology, like I said. So we're, when we look for photons, we're looking for stuff that moves at the speed of light, right? So how are we going to find this? It's essentially a compound photon, because it's made up of a bunch of little other photons which have waves, right? So this is where it gets to pretty mathy. It's like waves. Each of these moving ions is like, if it moves, it like shakes the field, right? And it goes outward. So all of those are doing it. So it's like really, the field's really bumpy, but really ordered and precise and intricate. Very ordered and intricate. Not necessarily precise. Like, it's not right necessarily. It can screw up, and that's kind of the point. That might be the humanity when that signal screws up. That signal can screw up because the neuron doesn't work, but it can also screw up if you have the wrong information, if you have the wrong pathways, especially if you have the wrong pathways strengthened. And realize that it's mechanical, essentially. I mean, everything at the bottom level is quantum, but we can understand it essentially as mechanical because it's moving ions. And just think of ion as a charged ball. And the ions that are moving, one is +2, one is +3. So they're both plus, but you go one for one. Actually, no, I think they're both +2, but they shove 3 out for every 2 in. So it creates an imbalance. Hold up, sorry. Ask questions, please. It helps. It really helps me explain it. Or not. I need to write this down, though, because I think this is big. It's like, it's the first quantum description of neuronal activity that I've seen. And that could be fucking huge, or it could be NBD, you know, because I don't know, and it's who knows if it's right, but I do study the brain a lot, and I study physics a lot, so maybe there's something to it. I don't know. It'd be tight, dude. It'd be just another patent. By the way, I put the, like, I should have just showed those patents, because that shit's every day for me, honestly. It's just, I come all... Oh yeah, I'm sorry. It's like, I should change, I don't know what my title... Yeah, I'm not doing Warzone right now, obviously. I should have done just chatting, I'm sorry. Because I'm chatting about science. And you're totally welcome to stay and ask questions. I love answering questions. I want to be a professor. One day. But so I've got a master plan, right? I'm 4 years behind on my education. No, sorry. 2 years behind on my education. I'm 26. I should have a fucking PhD by now. But I'm 4 years ahead on the streaming shit. Like, I just set up my PC, and I'm already having to fucking get a different phone because mine is littered with fucking random notifications and shit. And none of them are good, it seems. You love chatting. Let's go. So I was, yeah, these neuron things, a quantum description, and imagine, so I in one of my posts, I wrote about, like, how essentially the synapses have 80 plus different types of neurotransmitters. So it's got an alphabet of 80 plus, right? A computer has an alphabet of zeros and ones, right? But it's just, for a computer, it's just 0 or 1. Whereas with the brain, it's got an 80 plus letter alphabet, but it's not just presence or lack thereof. It's based off of relative concentrations and likely, it's likely time and area dispersion sensitive. You know, so if you get a big burst real quick of a certain neurotransmitter, it'll send a different signal to the next one than if you do a slow burst of the same amount, right? And bro, the brain is amazing. Like, compare it to a computer. Yeah, I've got Instagram. It's Chronic Caesar. Yeah, if you like reading, I've written a lot of stuff. I'm actually, like, compiling my stuff for a book. I'm not compiling yet. I'm writing still. But I've got notebooks, man. And I've been planning on just literally photocopying it and publishing it as an uneducated musings of the universe or some shit like that. And just have it be these, like, photocopied pages of my thoughts. You don't have to buy it. That's fine. But if I get it published, hopefully it'll be my ticket into Stanford. Because they're looking for good grades and all that bullshit, but Good grades don't make a student. Good grades don't make a thinker. They don't make you smart. They don't help you understand. It's not about grades. It's about understanding. 100%. That's why we go to school. We don't go to school to get a B or an A plus or a 4.0. We go to learn so we can apply it to our world. People forget that. I rant a lot. Sorry, boot it. But okay, so this quantum shit is really cool. So it's got a super intricate like alphabet, right? And it's mediated by all these crazy shits. And I was thinking, so if you just take like one little strip of the axonal membrane, you'll essentially see a sine wave like traveling forward. And if you put a bunch of those strips together, you have a bunch of sine waves traveling together. And that sounds to me a lot like a Fourier transform problem. Now this is where it gets actionable. We could prove it. We could prove how the brain works if this is right. Not prove, no, because there's still open questions, but the problem is we don't know the actual mechanism for how the brain works. Like, what are these signals? How do they work? And I say they work because they travel very slightly differently, in that it's almost like, bro, there's more. The plot thickens, I'll tell you what. Anything to help the world, what would it be? Free, you want to see my idea book? I have a plan. Straight up, I have a plan. It's like a light blue idea book. I have my living will written on the back cover. No shit. It was a dark time for me, but I planned for the future, you know. No one else is. Yeah, I'll be right back. I'll get that for you. Alright, it's somewhere in here. Oh yeah. If you know neuroscience, this is one to look in. Hidden idiosyncrasies in dementia. So when I say hidden idiosyncrasies, so like saying like is I guess a verbal idiosyncrasy, and hidden ones are embarrassing ones. They're ones that you do, I do, we all do, and we never want anyone to see them. And it's super embarrassing if someone does. Those are hidden idiosyncrasies. I think they might be a holdover, like a structural artifact of childhood, because those idiosyncrasies seem to come from childhood. I digress. It's fucking light blue. So a lot of these are my, that's an old physics notebook. That's relativity. Bro, I figured something out about relativity that can help us get to the stars, literally. Special relativity, you might want to get a little background in that, but basically, space and time are flexible. As you move faster, your clock slows relative to the universe. So when you haul ass, its clock speeds up. So when you haul ass, you see it evolve quicker, right? So what also happens when you start moving really fast, though, is that lengths contract. So it's called length contraction. And so, essentially, if you go c over radical 2, so c is the speed of light, c over radical 2, if you go that speed, then you will, you'll get there. So, like, your engines have to work for a certain amount of time or whatever, right? Your life support systems. If you go c over radical 2 times the speed of light, no, just c over radical 2, then you will get there. So say you're going 4.2 light years away. If you go at c over radical 2, you will feel as if you went 4.2 years and got there. But the Earth watching you, because they're not moving that fast, they'll see it take like 7 years or something, right? I think they would see it as they would see your speed. So that, you know, they're watching the spaceship, and just because the spaceship is moving, that doesn't clump all the space together in front of the spaceship. And that's what relativity is about, is that it's just relative to you and where you're at, the things you're related to, relatable to. And that's where, so I've been delving into some physics theories. I've been developing my ideas on physics, and one of them is Heisenberg uncertainty. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Bro, let me find this first. You asked like 10 minutes ago. That's not it. Fuck. Bro, world peace. That's the goal, honestly, in my notebook. That's why I don't want to show anyone, because they'll think I'm crazy, and I'm not. I'm just really fucking smart. And good. Sometimes. I try to be good. I tell people to be good, that's for sure. Bro, I'll find it. Always carry a notebook and a pen. It's right here. Shit. Bro, I wrote a post tonight. Tonight I wrote a post and posted this. Shit. That was on the front cover of... Check this shit out, dude. That's my living will. Serious about this shit. And my will, the only thing I have to will to anyone is my ideas. So I do. I try to put them in the right hands. This is the start. This is all I can give you right now. See, it's, you know, I've been telling people I have a plan. This has been written 3/3/17 at 6:59 PST. That was almost certainly 6:59 at night. Yes, because, so like, look, that's my ideas book. That's part of my plan. I am going to show you more, but hopefully you'll be able to read it. That is part of it. That is part of it. So a few things. Universal Wi-Fi. Thank you, Elon Musk. This is basically the boilerplate plan for phase 1, which I'm in right now. bro. Like, I got plans. Don't worry. I'll figure it out. I got a structure, bro. I got a business structure. And it is going to be a business. It's going to make money. It's going to help people. Education. Make it so universal Wi-Fi connectivity. Universal connectability, which means getting rugged devices and rugged remote energy generators to communities that have never had them, right? Put a smartphone in every village and see what they make of it, you know, because they will. They're humans just like everyone else. They just don't have the internet and shit. You give them the internet. You give Africa the internet, bro, they would have a chance. That's getting lofty, but like imagine if Africa was united with themselves, bro, and if they just, you know, all stop fighting. So there's a lot of bad shit going on in Africa. It seems like there always is. Someone's gotta step up. Someone on the continent has to step up. Someone on the continent of Africa has to step up to save Africa and bring Africa along so they can fucking help the rest of us. Because they will. That just shook the house. We waste a lot of food. A ton of food. If you've ever worked at a restaurant, you know this. Big time. And I say, so like, it's nutrients, right? So like a bacteria has nutrients in it because even its cell membrane is made of fat, essentially, right? So even a bacteria has nutritional value, but it also has infectious value. So what I would love to see happen is essentially no more wasted food. Get it, process it somehow, like dissolve it in acid, whatever you got to do to make sure that there's not shit living in it, and to make sure that you can essentially reconstitute the macronutrients in there by their constituents. So like piece by piece, you destroy the bacteria and you take all its pieces and you put it in a meal bar or something, and you make that meal bar a multivitamin, literally like a 3 a day. You could think about dog food, right? With dog food, fucking dogs eat the same thing their whole life and they're stoked about it. I wouldn't be stoked about that unless it was like mac and cheese or pizza or dope, like Five Guys burgers or some shit. Those are sick. But essentially try to make a meal bar that you can eat 3 a day and drink water and survive. At least until we can get them fucking KFC and Five Guys and whatever they want. Okay. Well, when you do, if you're a rich kid like I was, work at a restaurant. It's a great experience. It's difficult. You have to deal with a lot of shit you don't want to. A lot of shit gets thrown at you that is not your fault, and you just have to take it. It's a hard day of work being a server. I was never a server, but I was a expo and a bar back. Pretty much expo and bar back, and like a half server or whatever, bus boy, but I'd bring food out and shit. But so because I was the expo, I would see essentially every delivery that the waiting staff, I guess, would do. And bro, they're fucking tearing shit up all day for not much money, and then people don't tip. And that's how they live. They live off tips. So don't fucking go out. Sorry for cussing at you. It wasn't at you, but I'm passionate about it. Don't go out if you can't afford to give, for me it's like, don't go out and get food, don't pay for that shit if you can't afford to give 25% back to your server. And not because they served you well, but because they need it more than you. Like if you're going to that restaurant and having them serve you, maybe they don't need it more, but if you're willing to spend that money, just already, so like for me, I already expect like whatever the price is, bump it up 30% or something, because like tax or whatever, or charity, dude. We don't, like, if we were all charitable, we wouldn't even come close to needing any of these social programs that are pretty necessary, it seems, right? Charity, bro. It's what my parents taught me through example, basically, because they never really told me, but I realized, like, they do a fuck ton of charity first off, but and they fucking hate taxes and they hate government programs. But I've seen why. It's because they do charity one by one, essentially. Like they find situations that good people who are trying to get by could use a boost, and then they boost them. And so that's nice, but my mom is an angel. She doesn't only boost them with money, she essentially has dedicated her life to women caught in the sex industry. That connects to some shit I've been going through lately, where I always thought I was an ally to women because of that, and because my mom was like my protector. But I got accused of harassment by this bitch, and she was right, mostly, kind of. I don't know. The cops didn't think so. The school did, but that's where it went. And I always said, like, you gotta live above a shadow of a doubt, or whatever. Like, you shouldn't even be in a situation where someone would believe that you harassed someone, because you should be so unharassing, whatever. But what I missed is that I didn't check myself, because I thought I was an ally to women. So I thought, essentially, it was almost like I could do no harm, and I intended no harm. But the road to hell is paved in with good intentions, right? Truly. I've gotten in so much trouble, like you don't even know, because of my good intentions, and because I'm nosy. I stick my nose into things if I think I can fix them. So this whole world shit going on, I think I can fix it, so I'm sticking my nose into it. Right up its fucking ass. Sorry, that was a bit wild, but it's true, dude. And I'm doing it my way, and I like that. And I wonder, do you know if it's like legal? How old are you? Lil bud, how old are you? Bro, it's 11. Where do you live, bro? You gotta go to bed. Don't you have school tomorrow? It's January 24th, Sunday. You have a Monday coming up. It's not quite midnight. If you're on the West Coast, then go to bed in 45 minutes. If you're mountain or easterly of that, or easter than that, go to bed, dude. And if not, then I can keep talking about... Bro, I'll just look in my notebooks and bring up stuff that's interesting. Because there's a lot of gold in here. external. This might be from my entrepreneurship class, which I took. It's a cool class. Oh, why do I want to know your age? To see if you're up past your bedtime is what I was saying, because it's late and you have school tomorrow. And if you're not going to go to bed when you should, drink water for every... Sorry, drink like half a liter for every hour you're up to make up for it. Because water is huge, dude. You have no idea how many ailments you may suffer because of like chronic dehydration. That's kind of what I said I want to know your age because of it's late and it's past your bedtime if you're east of the Pacific, basically, because you should be going to school. Maybe not going to school, but you need your brain to be rested so it can learn. And resting directly makes you learn because of some neuroscience shit. Don't worry about it. I didn't realize, I don't know how young you are, but you seem sketched out that I'm asking, so don't worry about it, kid. Yeah, this is a good one to hang on to. There's a lot of good info I got there because I take notes and I listen. That isn't it, but that's like a full that's a full notebook, boys. Let's go. I was running out. Where did I just put my fucking book? Alright, there's a lot more cool stuff to this one. Solar 3D construction, that's a phase 2. Solar's phase 2. Batteries phase 2. Finance phase 3. Something that I've studied for a long time is cancer. That's kind of what got me into science. My uncle died when I was 4 of esophageal cancer. And at that age, you don't really grasp death, you know. Still kind of don't. But he died of stomach, esophageal cancer. And I just knew my uncle got taken to this thing called cancer, this word. Is there any tips for school? 100%. Listen, think, wonder, and don't let a question go by unasked. Let the professor know you want to know and you want to understand, and don't let shit pass you by, Stick with it and get frustrated that you can't understand it. And continue to be frustrated and continue, and then get over that hump. And that will never be a hump for you again. The hardest stuff to learn in the first place tends to be, for me through school, it's been one of the easiest to keep in mind because it was such a struggle. And when you have that click, it's awesome. Like as a teacher and a learner, that click is like, that's the excitement of it, honestly. Like science is exciting for us, and talking about it and thinking about it and learning about it and teaching about it. We love it because of that click of understanding. This person didn't know and now they know. That's why I want to be a professor. Also, I want to be in an academic setting with like-minded people who are thinking about the biggest ideas in the universe, because most people don't, FYI. So if you start thinking that way, maybe start surrounding yourself with real with real people, real brains, because they're not all the same. Oh, let me tell you, they are not. I've seen some good ones. I've seen some bad ones. I've seen one bigger than mine, by my estimation. I could be totally wrong, but there is one that I am sure is bigger than mine. Luis Cobb. Sorry, bud, but smartest dude I've ever talked to. He is scary smart, dude. He's not even that edgy. Like he was like a Georgetown business major or something. Business, that's not hard. But he was so fucking smart, dude. He was fucking genius. Hey, good, dude. Good. Have a good night. Have a good day at school. I welcome you back if you want to come. I'll be playing games more, especially like this is just kind of impromptu. I'm probably going to play later, but good night, dude. Noid. Good night. Goodbye. Barger, where are you? Oh, Barger. Barger. Bo, I haven't taken a shower in can you tell? Got that slick back hair. Bo, my stream right now is so